That day that I was with my sister and her girlfriend for hours that day, they were fine. They were fine. There was no sign, tension. I had a house and I didn't even make it all the way home before when I got the phone call. But I never seen them argue. I never seen them have a disagreement.
It began with a smile, the kind that made people stop and feel warm, even on the hardest days. Kaalynn Jackson smiled like life was full of sunshine. She taught children who struggled to speak, to read, to sit still, and somehow she made them feel like they belonged. She didn't just teach, she reached, she gave, she cheered at football games, she danced at birthday parties, she planned family cookouts. Her world was full of love, of purpose, of light. But behind the joy was something else. A shadow that stood too close, that watched her laugh only to hate the sound. That said, "I love you," but moved like it owned her. On the surface, everything looked whole. In pictures, they smiled. But the smile was a mask. And while Kaalynn tried to live, someone else plotted how to end it, that someone didn't come from outside her world. She invited it in. She called it love. It was death, wearing a disguise. And on a warm spring night, after a family celebration filled with prayer, laughter, and balloons released into the sky, Kalynn's heart was stopped by the person she trusted the most. This is not just a love story gone wrong. This is the quiet horror of being hunted in your own home by someone who called you mine. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told with care and truth, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us keep sharing the voices and lives that should never be forgotten. Now, let's continue the story.
But I was with my sister and her girlfriend for hours.
She grew
that
up in a
day.
home filled with warmth, where birthdays were celebrated with laughter, and Sunday mornings smelled like pancakes and praise.
I had,
From the start,
just left her
Kaalynn
house.
Jackson stood
I
out,
didn't even make it all
not
the
because
way
she was
home
loud,
before-
but
when I
because
got
she
the phone
carried
call,
light. A natural giver. The
I
type
never
of
seen them
child who'd
argue.
check
I
on her
never
little
seen them
cousins
have
during family dinners
a
before
disagreement.
fixing her
She
own
wanted to
plate.
burn the table
That
down
light
and drag
followed her
Jackson
through
into the
school.
ashes.
She wasn't
This
just
wasn't
smart.
love.
She was steady,
This was possession,
kind,
obsession,
present. The one
a
who stayed
textbook
behind
demonic
to
takeover.
help a struggling
What
classmate
started
or
as affection
volunteered to
twisted
clean
into
up after
control.
school events.
Colbert
By
wanted
the time she
Jackson's
reached
attention,
college,
her
there was no
energy,
question
her
about
entire
her path.
existence
She
to
didn't
herself.
want to work in front of
No
a camera,
friends,
in a
no
courtroom,
family,
or behind
no
a desk.
outside life,
She wanted
only
to stand
Janai.
in front of a classroom.
And when Kaalynn started
Hamilton E.
fighting back,
Holmes
when she
Elementary
dared to keep
became her
laughing,
second
keep shining,
home.
keep
There,
living,
she found
Janai's
her calling,
obsession
not in
curdled into
textbooks,
rage.
but in the eyes
On
of
that
children
final
most
day,
people
it
overlooked.
wasn't an argument.
Children who needed
It wasn't
more
a
time,
fight.
more patience,
It was an
more
execution.
love. She gave them all
Welcome
three.
to the American crime.
Kaalynn taught special education
But I was with my
with a
sister and her
quiet power.
girlfriend for hours
Not
that day.
everyone understood what it took,
They were fine.
but she did.
They
She believed in
were
them.
fine.
A
Every
real-life
child,
angel with a
no matter
megawatt
their
smile,
diagnosis,
a pure
no
heart,
matter their
and a
pace,
soul that
and
seemed
they
stitched
believed in
together
her
with
too.
light.
Her classroom
She had
was
the
a
type
safe
of spirit
space,
that made
not just for
people feel
learning,
seen,
but for
loved,
being.
important.
She made kids feel like
She
they
was a
mattered,
nurturer by
that their
nature,
voices were
a
worth
helper by
hearing,
heart.
that their effort was
After
enough.
graduating
Beyond
college,
the classroom,
she
she
dedicated
coached the
herself to
school's
shaping
cheerleading
young
team,
lives at
turning
Hamilton
unsure,
Holmes
shy
Elementary
girls
School
into
in East
proud,
Point,
confident
Georgia,
leaders.
teaching
She
special
organized
needs
bake
students,
sales, decorated
coaching
bulletin
cheerleading,
boards,
and
planned
bringing a
birthday
spark of
surprises
joy
for
into
colleagues.
every classroom
Her
she
heart was
entered.
stitched into every
She was
hallway.
living her purpose.
Students drew her
She was
pictures.
loved by her
Parents sent
students,
thank you
adored
notes.
by her
Co-workers
family,
leaned on
and
her during
admired by
hard
anyone
days.
lucky
Her
enough to
presence
cross her
wasn't
path.
loud, but it was
But
deeply felt.
sometimes, the
At Hamilton
brightest lights
Holmes,
attract
she
the
wasn't just
darkest
Miss
shadows.
Jackson. She was family.
And unfortunately,
At first,
Jackson's shadow
it looked
came
like
wrapped in the
love.
form of Janai.
Kaalynn had always poured her
Janai
heart
wasn't
into
like
others.
Kaalynn.
Her
She didn't
students,
come from
her
a home
family,
of love,
her community.
and guidance.
So, when
She
she met
came from
Janai
chaos,
Colbert,
the
no
kind
one was
that latches
surprised that she
onto
opened that
good-hearted
same
people
heart
and
again.
drains them
She
dry.
believed in
She
giving
was
people a
directionless,
chance,
angry,
believed that everyone
isolated,
deserved
and
love,
desperate.
even the ones who
Over
came with
time,
pain.
she became heavily
Janai was
dependent on
different,
Jackson
though.
and
she
her
didn't
family.
come from the same
They
kind of
welcomed
love
her in.
Kaalynn was raised in.
They offered her
Her
the
story
love
was
she
heavy,
claimed to never
marked by
have.
struggle,
They fed her,
silence, and survival.
celebrated
Where
holidays with
Kaalynn
her,
brought light,
prayed with her,
Janai
and like
carried
a true
shadows.
wolf in sheep's
Still,
clothing,
Kaalynn
Colbert
welcomed
smiled
her.
for the
Their
pictures
photos
while
painted a
harboring a
picture
festering
of two women
resentment
in love,
inside.
smiling
Kaylyn's
at cookouts,
family had
hugging during
concerns, sure,
holidays, holding
but they
hands
never
like
imagined the
everything was
danger
whole.
lurking beneath
But underneath the
Janai's quiet
surface,
smiles
there were
and blank
cracks.
stares.
Small ones at first.
No one
The
imagined
kind
they
of
had
things
invited a
families
demon to
notice
dinner.
but don't know how to name.
On April 19,
Kaylynn's laughter grew
2025,
quieter.
Jackson
Her energy
hosted a
dimmed.
celebration
She
of
stopped
life at her
answering
home for her
calls as
late
quickly,
grandmother,
cancelled
a
plans
gathering
more
filled
often.
with grief,
Her mother,
remembrance,
her siblings,
love, and
they
prayer.
all felt it.
I really appreciate everybody coming out, man. Yes. Look how big we is. Right.
Hey, y'all did a good host.
And while no one wanted to
Sold
believe
up,
it,
sold out.
something was changing.
Thank y'all for coming
Still,
again.
they loved
Say some words
her
from our
through it,
grandma. We
just
miss
like
her.
Kaalynn did.
We
They let
love
in,
her.
fed her,
This is
prayed,
Auntie.
celebrated.
Yes.
Love you, mama.
Love you so much.
Attention, pain, the person trying. But what they couldn't see was
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
her weekends were filled with cookouts, birthday parties, cheerleading practices. She had a life that overflowed, with love, with purpose, with people. Then, slowly, things began to change. Calls went unanswered. Texts turned into short replies. "I've just been busy," she'd say, or "we're just spending more time together." But her family felt it, that silent drift, that shrinking space between who she used to be and who she was becoming. Janai didn't like to share, not time, not attention, not love. She didn't raise her voice in front of others, but the control crept in through small moments. Janai would insist on knowing where Kaalynn was going, who she was with. She'd show up, unexpectedly, get upset when Kaalynn stayed too long at work or laughed too hard around others. Kaalynn, being the soft soul she was, tried to explain it away. "She's just been through a lot. She's trying. She just wants to feel included." But it was more than that. There were arguments behind closed doors, cold silences, doors slammed in frustration. Janai began rewriting the rules of Kalynn's life, one expectation, one demand at a time. And slowly, without meaning to, Kaalynn adapted. She missed family dinners, stopped inviting friends over. Even at work, her safe place, colleagues noticed she wasn't herself. Her smile flickered. Her joy felt thinner. A domestic violence counselor, when shown the pattern, explained it best. This is classic coercive control. It doesn't always start with bruises. Sometimes it starts with silencing, with shrinking, with the slow erasing of a person's freedom. People think abuse always looks like broken bones or black eyes, but sometimes it looks like missed calls, like isolation, like a woman trying to hold on to love while quietly losing herself. Kaalynn was slipping away, and the people who loved her were watching, but they didn't know how close the edge really was.
I really appreciate everybody coming out, man. Yes. Look how big we is. Right.
Hey, y'all did a good host.
Y'all showed up, sold out. Thank y'all for coming again. Say some words from our grandma. We miss her. We love her.
This is Auntie.
Yes.
Love you, mama.
Love you so much.
Happy birthday. What you say, Andy, man? Love you so much. Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, sister. Happy birthday, baby.
It was supposed to be a day of love, a day of memory, a day to honor a woman who had given their family so much strength, Kalynn's late grandmother. The Jackson family had come together for a celebration of life, not a funeral, not a goodbye, but a tribute. Balloons floated skyward into the April sky. Laughter echoed between hugs. Prayers were whispered, hands were held, and stories about Grandma's strength and warmth brought tears to their eyes. Kaalynn hosted it all in the home. She shared with her family. She stood at the center, smiling, hugging, keeping things moving. The teacher, the nurturer, the heart of the home. She had done a beautiful job. Everything was perfect, and Janai was there too. She blended in, smiling for the photos, holding, and during prayer, standing beside the family like she belonged. But something about her was off. Not loud, not angry, just off, too quiet, too calm. Her eyes didn't match her smile. Her presence felt still, heavy, like a storm waiting for the sky to crack. No one thought too much of it. After all, this was a day about Grandma, about love, about legacy. When the guests began to leave, the family thought the evening was winding down peacefully. But peace has a way of shattering. Hours later, barely an hour after the last guest left, chaos erupted. Kalynn's brother was the first to scream, a sound no one in that house will ever forget. He ran into their mother's room, hands shaking, shirt soaked in his sister's blood. "Mom, she shot Kaalynn, right in the chest." The shock hit like a punch to the soul. There had been no shouting, no argument, no fight. Kaalynn had been helping Janai get to bed, helping her. And somewhere between that kindness and the day, next breath, Janai reached for a gun and pulled the trigger, aiming directly at her heart. Kaalynn collapsed into her brother's arms. He begged her to stay awake, begged her to breathe, but there was too much blood, too much damage. She was rushed to the hospital, but her heart had already taken the final blow. Back at the house, Janai sat motionless, emotionless. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. When the police arrived, she went with them quietly, like she had done nothing. Like she had been waiting for this. When the phone call came in, their mother was typing a message to Kaalynn. A message of love, a message she would never get to send. Instead, she dropped her phone and fell to her knees. She had just taken a picture with her daughter, just watched her smile, just held her hand. And now, that same daughter was gone. The last picture they ever took together was still fresh on her screen. One mother, one brother, one whole family shattered in an instant because love had invited a monster into their home, and no one saw it coming. Janai Colbert didn't resist when the police took her away. Calm and still, she moved through the chaos like a ghost. Unmoved, unshaken, her cold eyes revealed nothing, no remorse, no regret. She had been charged with malice murder, a deliberate and deadly act that shattered a family forever. The news spread like wildfire through East Point and beyond. The community that knew Kaalynn, a beloved teacher, a dedicated coach, a bright light in so many lives, was stunned. Students whispered her name in disbelief. Colleagues struggled to find words. Parents and neighbors gathered, tears flowing, hearts heavy with grief. Candlelight vigils were held under the warm glow of street lamps. Flowers piled up outside Hamilton E. Holmes Elementary. Handmade signs, "We love you, Miss Jackson," covered walls and trees. The sadness was everywhere. A vibrant life snuffed out too soon. Her family, torn apart by loss, stood united in pain and memory. They spoke of Kalynn's kindness, her laughter, her dreams. The woman who gave so much to her students, her family, her community, was gone. But the love she planted would never fade. Kaalynn left a wound too deep for words. Her family's grief was raw, but so was their love, overflowing in memories and messages shared with the world. Her mother spoke of a daughter who was her sunshine, a light that could brighten even the darkest days. She remembered Kalynn's laughter filling their home, her gentle spirit that wrapped everyone in warmth and care. Her siblings recalled moments of joy, the little things Kaalynn did that made their lives better, from cheering them on at every milestone to simply being there when they needed her most. Close friends shared stories of a woman who gave without expecting anything in return, a friend who lifted others up, who taught by example, and whose heart was bigger than anyone could imagine. In her honor, the community came together to create lasting legacies. Scholarships were established to support young students who shared Kalynn's passion for education and kindness. Local programs launched to protect and empower those vulnerable to the very dangers she tried to shield others from. Pictures and videos from school events showed Kalynn's smile lighting up classrooms. Community gatherings filled with tears and laughter proved her spirit lived on, stronger than ever. Though gone, Kalynn's legacy continues, a beacon of hope, love, and courage for all who knew her. Kalynn's story is a heartbreaking reminder that domestic abuse can hide behind closed doors, even when everything seems fine on the surface. It shows us how important it is to recognize the warning signs, control, isolation, and possessiveness, and to act before it's too late. No one should suffer in silence. Families, friends, and communities must stand together to support those at risk and break the cycle of violence. If you or someone you know is facing abuse, help is available. Reach out to trusted organizations and helplines. They are there to listen, protect, and guide. Let's honor Kaalynn not only by remembering her light, but by shining a light on this issue that affects so many lives every day. Together, we can create safer, stronger communities. In loving memory of Kaalynn Jackson.
Happy birthday, Doug!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday, sister! Happy birthday, baby! I love you, baby.